Chapter 16. Some people had heard Liu Qian's threat that morning. Liu Qian's not someone to tangle with. You'd better leave in case your prediction doesn't come true. They warned Jiang Ziya. There's no need for that. Jiang had answered unperturbed. Everyone remained there chatting and waiting for Liu Qian's return. Soon Liu Qian came rushing in. Was my prediction accurate? Jiang Ziya asked him. You must be a celestial being, sir. Liu Qian cried out. Everything you said came true. How lucky the people of Zhaoge are to have such a saint with them. They can enjoy happiness and evade all misfortune. Since my prediction came true, let me have my pay. Jiang Ziya demanded. 20 coppers is too little for your valuable service. Liu Qian said generously, but did not take his money out. If my prediction hadn't come true, you could certainly condemn me, but since it turned out to be accurate, you must pay me now. How can you just give me a lot of empty talk? Jiang Ziya protested. It wouldn't be enough even if I gave you all 120 coppers. Don't get excited. Let me do something for you, sir. Liu Qian said earnestly. He went outside and stood under the eaves, looking around, and when he caught sight of a man in a cotton shirt with a leather belt rushing up from the south gate, he raced forward and grasped him tightly. What do you think you're doing? The man snapped. Oh, nothing. I'm just taking you to see a fortune teller. I'm on business for the Yamen, and I'm in a great hurry. I don't want my fortune told. But this fortune teller is really wonderful. All his predictions come true. Besides, don't you know that it's a sign of favor for a person to recommend a good doctor or a good fortune teller? Liu Qian urged. How funny you are, brother. It's up to me to decide whether I consult a fortune teller or not. You can't force me to do it. The man protested. If you won't consult the fortune teller, let's simply jump into the river and end our lives together. Liu Qian said rudely, pulling the man towards the river. Friend, better have your fortune told. Can't you see how sincere brother Liu is in offering you his recommendations? The onlookers exhorted the man. But I've nothing to ask the fortune teller, so how can he make any prediction? If his prediction doesn't come true, I'll pay the fee for you, but if it does come true, you buy me a drink. Liu Qian challenged. The man realized that it was futile to resist, and so he followed Liu reluctantly into the fortune teller's. He was a clerk in the Yamen who was being sent on urgent business, so he had no time to have his fortune told by his birth date. He picked out a divining slip and handed it to Jiang Ziya. What do you wish to know, sir? Jiang Ziya asked. I've been sent to collect the land tax. What do you think will happen? You may verify yourself whether my prediction comes true or not. Your mission will be easily accomplished. The taxpayers are already waiting for you and will pay without delay. You'll collect 103 silver ingots from them. Jiang Ziya said with confidence. How much do I owe you, sir? This is no ordinary fortune teller's, so the fees are quite high. It's half a tael of silver for each divination. Liu Qian said. You're not the fortune teller. How do you know? The clerk protested. We've got only one price here. At half a tael you're getting it cheap. Liu Qian retorted. Not having time to argue, the clerk paid and left. When Liu Qian bade farewell to Jiang Ziya, the latter thanked him sincerely for his help. Many onlookers remained at the fortune teller's shop, eager to witness the results of Jiang's second prediction. About 2 hours later, the clerk rushed back. As soon as he reached the door, he shouted loudly. Oh, sir, you really are an immortal from heaven. I got 103 ingots, exactly as you predicted. It really is worth half a tael of silver for one prediction. After that, news of Jiang Ziya spread like wildfire through Zhaoge, and everyone was eager to pay half a tael of silver to have his fortune told. Jiang's daily income now satisfied his wife, and Song Yiren was naturally delighted. In 6 months, Jiang Ziya was known throughout the land, and people came from far and wide to consult him. In the Shuanyang grave mound south of Jiaoge lived the Jade Lute Spectre. Each time she went to the palace to visit Daji, she took the opportunity to devour some of the palace maids under the cover of night and pile the bones under the ornamental Taihu Lake rocks. One morning she bade farewell to Daji and left the palace on her spectral cloud. Over the south gate, she heard a great clamor below, and saw Jiang Ziya making divinations among a big crowd. I'll go down and see if he can find out what I am, she decided, transforming herself into a beautiful young woman in mourning. She moved up gracefully. "Gentlemen, please let me through to have my fortune told," she said in a sweet voice. People made way for her at once. Jiang Ziya sensed something odd about the woman. Looking at her closely, he realized that she was a specter. The damned beast! How dare she come and test me out? Why wait till later to subdue her? I'll finish her off today, he decided, and said, "Would you gentlemen please give precedence to the lady? Let her have her fortune told first." When she sat down, he said, "Show me your right hand, please. Do you also tell fortunes by reading palms?" The specter asked with a smile. "I'll read your palm first and your birth date later." The Jade Lute smiled again and gave her hand to Jiang Ziya. He held her wrist tightly, and then transmitting congenital energy to his eyes, he stared at her and fixed her in her seat. "Why don't you tell my fortune? How dare you grasp my hand like this? Don't you see I'm a lady? Let go at once. How can you explain yourself to all these onlookers?" The specter cried. Not understanding what was happening, the onlookers shouted, "Jiang Ziya, you're already an old man. How can you be so bewitched as to lose control of yourself? This is the capital where His Majesty resides. How dare you be so indecent here? Gentlemen," Jiang tried to explain. "This is a specter, not a human being. What nonsense. We're not blind. She's clearly a woman. How can you say she's a specter?" As the crowd grew larger, Jiang Ziya thought, "Should I release my hand, the specter would run away, and I would have no evidence to explain myself. I must subdue her and let my name be known." He had no weapon, so he picked up a purple stone ink slab from his desk and struck a heavy blow on her temple. Her skull cracked and blood soaked her clothing. Jiang Ziya continued to hold her wrist so that she couldn't transform herself to another form. "Don't let him run away. The fortune teller's killed a woman," people cried. They surrounded the house shouting and cursing. Just then Vice Prime Minister Bi Gun came by on his horse. "Why are they making such a racket here?" he asked his attendants. But the crowd had already seen him. "Here comes the Prime Minister. Let's take Jiang Ziya to see him." Bi Gun stopped his horse. "What's the matter here?" One member of the crowd, exasperated by the atrocity, stepped forward and knelt down. "There's a fortune teller here named Jiang Sheng. Just now a woman asked him to tell her fortune. He took a fancy to her and tried to insult her, but the woman was chaste and resisted him. He became annoyed and killed her with a stone ink slab. It's a terrible shame that this innocent woman should die such a violent death." Bi Gun became very angry. "Seize him and bring him over," he ordered his guards. Jiang Ziya was still holding the specter's wrist. He dragged her over and knelt down. "You're an aged man, but you ignore the law and attempt to insult this woman in broad daylight. How dare you beat her to death when she refused to comply? Your behavior cannot be tolerated. You must be sent to court for trial and seriously dealt with." Bi Gun swore. "Please allow me to speak, sir. I've studied the rights since childhood and never dare to break the law. This woman isn't a human being, but a specter. The aura of evil spirits has filled the palace recently, and the kingdom's beset with disaster. Since I'm a citizen of the capital, I have the obligation to wipe out specters. I hope you can realize that this woman is indeed a specter." She's already dead, so why do you still hold her so tightly? Bigan asked. If I release my hand and she runs away, I'll have no evidence to prove my innocence. Bigan saw that people were on the verge of a riot. The case cannot be examined here. I'll report it to His Majesty and it can be clarified at the palace, he announced. Following Bigan, Jiang Ziya dragged the specter to the palace gate. Bigan entered the palace and proceeded to the star-picking mansion where he reported to King Zhou what had happened. Hearing his report, Daji groaned inwardly. Oh, sister. Why didn't you go straight home instead of looking for trouble with the fortune teller? I'll avenge you, sister. She promised and immediately presented herself before King Zhou. Your Majesty. It's really difficult to determine the truth from the Vice Prime Minister's report. Send them and let me see them. You're right, Queen. King Zhou agreed and sent for Jiang Ziya and the dead woman. When Jiang Ziya knelt down and told his story, the king said, As far as I can see, she's a real woman, not a specter. How can you prove that she is indeed a specter? Your Majesty may see her original form by burning her in fire. When King Zhou gave his approval, Jiang Ziya laid the specter on the ground, unbuttoned her clothes, and stamped a charm on her breast and back, preventing her from running away. Then the guards put her on a great pile of firewood and set it alight. They burned her in the fierce fire for 4 hours, but she remained unharmed, without even the slightest burn mark on her skin. 4 hours in the fire hasn't even scorched her. She's undoubtedly a specter. King Zhou said to Bigan. Jiangsheng's obviously no ordinary man. Replied Bigan. But we still don't know what her real form is. Go ask Jiangsheng. The king directed. If you want to know what became of the specter, you must read the next chapter.